I guess it's morning at the moment. Oops. Wonder if that's going to come or what. Some coffee. Apparently it doesn't seem to work. No, we're running. No, apparently okay, it's true. Apparently it had some problems. I gotta wake a little in. 7 o'clock, they're working upstairs. I guess the morality of not making any noise before 8 o'clock doesn't apparently, it's nice to see that those making the rules, of course, have double morals. Of course, that's apparently better, right? It's pretty much only allowed in 10 minutes to make a lot of noise with machines and all that, but apparently that's not followed in regards of the workers for sure, and thereby those that fixes the. So that would of course be those making the rules doesn't care about the rules, of course. There's always they always want to set a good example, of course, right? So anyway, I've gotten some coffee and I've been listening to some of the videos on the on my website, and I think I have some more that I can delete. It's not that many, but the seed and the lotus was pretty boring, so I can delete that. Tim Kaine, there was something in regard to Tim Kaine. I just don't see if we can find the whole title here. Tim Kaine, let's see here, Tim Kaine. False prophet, Tim Kaine. Well, nothing found. Let's see, Tim. Maybe I just search Tim. Senator Tim Kaine speaks on his Jesuit formation while on the campaign, and it wasn't really.
I went to a Jesuit boys' school, Rockhurst High School.
Pretty boring overall. Of course, it shows.
Jesuits in the house. I like that.
Jesuits in the house.
The motto of my school, this boys' school, was men for.
But anyway, I'll delete that.
And that was what.
The Jesuits are everywhere, and people trained by the Jesuits. So it's all roads leads to the Jesuits. Okay, here we go. All roads leads to the.
Have you ever wondered why
It was actually an okay video, but there's just things I didn't really, where I'm like, But it does talk about the education system as of the, that the Jesuits are promoting this. It's interesting how the whole period is just promoted by Jesuits. This, sophisticated. All roads leads to the Jesuit, the real power behind the NWO, the New World Order. Again, when you say the New World Order, it just disguises the real culprit. Why not say, well, Roman World Order, or a new Roman Dark Age, to the new Roman Dark Age, It's not connected with, it doesn't, you don't see it being connected with the Reformation and the counter-protest, when you use the New World Order. You know, what is the New World
Otherwise
Order?
known as the secret instruction.
Yeah, we have in regards of the secret instruction, but I have those on my list. So she absolutely does get around a lot of goodies. Talks about different things. Charles Chinicky is mentioned as well, but I'm not kind of sure that it's. She has some things that I didn't really seem to. They connected it with the mystical in regards to the spiritual exercises. So she does connect a lot of dots, but I'm not entirely sure if those dots are. I guess I can fix it as a set thing or something like that for but yeah, it's not, I have so many videos and I still need to, I should at least get down to 50. Hundreds is way too many. It's just too much. And I have over 100 still, I think 100 and something. So still need to delete a lot. 138 right now. It's just, I was looking into Bill Cooper, of course. The Jesuits are the Illuminati, secrets of the satanic societies, and he has this one about the Alumbrados, also known as the Spanish Illuminati. Jesuits are of the time, and he goes into, but it's hard to. Oh, my brain needs a break. Babylonian Jesuit Empire teaching, Alan Lamont, Roman New World Order, the Black Pope, the hidden conspiracy exposed, Alan Lamont. The Black Pope, secrets of the Jesuit Order, Alan Lamont. The Jesuit Order power structure exposed, Alan Lamont. The Jesuits are the soldiers of Satan by Alan Lamont. So I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of Alan Lamont, and I just pretty much wanted one, but yeah, he has some good stuff for sure. So at some point I will need to dig into those 5 again and find out which one. Yeah, I can't even remember the initial one I had that I wanted to. Well, maybe I can actually look in my oldest backup file and see if see what I had at that point. Although I don't know if the backup is old enough. Content, media, Jesuits, nope. Well, I don't have that many. I only had 3 videos in the Jesuit section apparently at that point. Okay, so that's way before the. So we have 2013. Okay, let's try that and see what we have. Yeah, we have 3. Roman New World Order, the Black Pope secrets of the Jesuit Order. The Jesuits are the soldiers of Satan. We have 3, but yeah, I will have to relook into what to save and what not to save. Right, New World Order, Joseph Biden, the Jesuit president. Oh, that's an hour of things apparently.
Hi there, my friends. God bless you.
Oh, it sounds like it's Alan Lamont.
God bless you. In this video, I am going to go into the history of Joseph Biden and also explain how he is connected to the Jesuit order at the highest levels.
Yeah, but it's just.
I'll
It's all.
describe Joseph Biden, Mr. Joseph Biden, as a man behind the scenes, really, and that will be revealed during the video. A man that is really behind the throne, a man that is really pulling the strings.
Well,
Of course, here's facts and history.
yeah, I don't think I need that. Of course, there's pictures of.
Candidates who are both Jesuit trained. And of course, Joseph Biden is now the President of the United States.
That was when the
It's right there.
Pope came
Right in
over.
front of us. You know, you have the General of the Jesuit Order, the Black Pope, who was also White Pope.
Well,
Stand in front of Congress, throwing a hand signal, which is a peace signal.
I don't agree with the White Pope being the Black Pope, but anyway, this is an idea that they have, yet is, I don't see the need for any what do you call it, deception in regards to that. Why would they need to do that? There's no point in the Black Pope being the, that making. So this is an idea that is coming forth from some of these guys, and I just don't buy it. Don't see why in the world, in any case, why it would be, okay, so that's
Publisher's introduction to the book The Secret History of the Jesuits by Edmund Paris.
yeah, here now.
Very
Lots of stuff here, right?
Ever known.
Here we go with Alberto Rivera as well. And it's just interesting those that attack Alberto Rivera, for and try to slick, where do you stick him or whatever? So nothing but the truth.
Talk sheet. Recorded live.
That's from
Hello,
Jobla.
everybody. And those that will join in.
60 the
those who will
Truth,
download
the
and
Jesuit and the Evil
I think we
Elder
have,
Induction.
You'll want to see the classical trajectory.
Well, I actually had that video also on YouTube. It talks a little about in regards to the education of the Jesuits. 2 years of novitiate. The scholastic continues with 2 years of philosophy, 2 years of regency, 5 years of theology, 5 to 6 years of apostolic work or additional studies, 1 year of tertianship, a 3rd year of novitiate or whatever. So a lot of years. If you going down of that
There
ladder.
came one of the 7 angels which have the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither. I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication,
With.
and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine
Has
of her
some
fornication.
problems in regards of running apparently. Jesuit trained Donald Trump goes to pay respect to pagan Catholic Pope John Paul idol. And that's what I mean in regards of an image, the image of the beast. We already see it today in its, what do you call it? It will just be a future thing. But of course, this video really will more deservedly be put in another section, if anything. Does he make the cross there? What is she? No, did not. Okay, I don't think so. At least they did take their hands up, but you're seeing things behind, so it's hard to see if they take the hands up. They could be making the cross, but it's hard to see if both of them are taking their hands up, right? So must be doing something with them, right? But it's impossible to see. But maybe he's just reaching out his hand, both of them. I don't know.
And the woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth.
They didn't even show the, it would have been, pretty good ending when they're saying the, woman that reigned over the kings of the earth. Well, you should have shown something in regards to the Vatican, right? So, let's just delete that. I think I have another one of those where we see, this guy in front of the statue. We have the Pope Francis to head the New World Order.
Live, a prophetic segment of the
But the question is again, you know, would he be the last poop, right? You know, there's a chance there will be other poops in the future, right? Of course, all, you know, we can see things getting together and all that, and if we could be very close to the end, but you know, it's, people have believed that before and been wrong, or, you know, so, but yeah, absolutely, things are absolutely, you know, looking in the direction that things could go pretty quickly. And I guess a lot of people could actually wake up, you know, at a very quickly stage.
You are watching Israel
When everything pretty much becomes out in the light and people can see, well, okay.
News Live, a prophetic segment of this evening's news. Here.
Stephen
And
Ben Noon
some of these
is
things that we're
really...
going to basically be bringing to you are a repeat of things that we have spoken about already in the past, but the time is nearing. We're getting closer and closer daily to the event of Pope Francis, his
But again, you know, of course the Jesuits have their hands in everything, but it's not kind of a video directly on the Jesuits.
visit to the United States on September, beginning on September the 22nd.
But yeah, you know, we see historically, you know, what was going on in the past, we see what is going on in today, we see the prophecies of the future, and we collect it all together, and yeah.
When he arrives from
Then you will be
Cuba and-
claimed as a futurist, you know. But why would, you know, if Satan wanna be like God, why wouldn't he wanna sit in God's temple? You know what is you know what should be God's temple? Why wouldn't he wanna sit in that? You know.
Anderson,
I know in regards to the third temple, and if that even is going to, you know, it seems like there will be a fourth temple built by the Messiah in the 1,000-year reign, as far as I can see. At least we have instructions for the city, and I think there's a temple in that as well. But anyway.
Andrews Air Force Base in Washington, D.C. And it'll be the following morning at 9:15 a.m. where it'll be a ceremony, a meeting with the President Obama at the White House will be that meeting there, meeting the nation's leader, and so many things.
So yeah, just drinking my coffee, and then I should really, you know, it's not good weather today, and it's pretty cold outside, but I really should get some boxes and some things. It's really closing for 5 days, and of course Sabbath, you know, so the last day is really on Sunday, you know, it's getting close.
Things are going to transpire as a result of the meetings for the next few days after that. On the September the 24th at 9:20 a.m. again, he will address a joint session of
Yeah, but is
things that
anything
he
exciting in this video?
received many millions at that bill.
Yeah.
God has got to rise up. That's fascinating. There are literally articles making him the Savior, the Peacemaker, the Messiah of today. He's become the world's God. And they think he's the only one that can save the world. You know what's funny? Him and Pope Benedict, because they're both popes right now. One's a Jesuit pope, a black pope, the other one's a white pope.
Well, in regard to this black, I don't know, where is this idea coming from, you know? I've seen it being promoted by some of these guys, right, that the white pope is the black pope, but, you know, where's the evidence for that, you know? You know, it's just something they believe, you know, to be, but where's the fact, right? You know, it's just, it just seems to be misinformation.
Remember when Yeshua was on earth, there were two false witnesses that were brought against him.
Anyway, so I'll just delete that one as well. Yeah, I just, you know, when people say, well, the white poop is the black poop, you know, where do you see that, you know? It was a, you know, he's a Jesuit, yeah, sure, right? But where does it make it him the the Black Pope, you know, and just, yeah. And why would that be a thing, right? Why would that even be a thing? Because you still have the office of things, and it's just, it doesn't make any sense, you know. Why would they even try to you know, yeah, anyway. And of course the Jesuit general still works for the Pope, you know, to put the Pope into world dominion in regards of worldly, you know, what is it called? Where you have temporal, the word temporal, but that was another word for temporal. Secular, you know, into absolute secular dominion. I still do wonder why Richard Bennett would help write a book against Alberto Rivera and some of these others that are against Alberto Rivera. I just don't see the evidence that Alberto Rivera was fake. You know, I see some well, he wasn't registered in the documents for, or, you know, bishop or whatever. You know, so you're saying that, you know, that the Roman Catholic Church couldn't have anything that wasn't, you know, registered on those behalfs, or maybe deleting things, or, you know, but anyway, I don't really see some tangible evidence that he was, because again, you know, oh, he was never a Jesuit or whatever. Well, you know, he had to be, you know, something, because he knew a huge amount of stuff. You can't just say that what he was saying, you know, just came out of thin air. You know, most Christians would be able to shred him to pieces if that was the case. And the thing is, you know, what he's saying is, you know, as far as I can see, truthfully true. You know, there might be some things you don't agree with, but, you know, we all make mistakes. But is he truthfully saying what he, you know, what is true? Anyway, and there's so many things like the Nazi connections. I had never heard about that before, you know, in regards to Roman Catholicism and all that. And you find out it's true. It's like this wild claim where you're thinking, what is this? You know, you can't, you know, are you kidding me? I would have heard about this, you know. And you find out, wait, there's actually something about this. It's incredible, right? Oh, here we have another with Donald, Jesuit, Trump, Wizard, Saint, Pope John Paul II, National Shrine in Washington. Here's even a date and all that. And then we see him standing in front of the statue and all that. And I remember that, you know, people will make him the hero. Donald Trump, a puppet for the Jesuit. We have a couple of these Donald Trump.
Secrecy is repugnant.
Hi,
Donald Trump
doing
calls
this
for a New
video.
World Order at Jesuit.
Another New World Order
dinner.
one where Donald Trump says some
And of course he calls against, you know, anti-Catholic or anti-Catholic rhetoric. That would be people like me, you know. So clearly he's not something that would be for me, but against me. Jesuit obedience, that's from Eric Phelps again. I have so much from Eric Phelps.
Nice.
I was listening to Eric Phelps again on the Christ Mass, and he's absolutely correct on that. Well, you know, of course, there's some things that I think he, you know, is not true, but like the Jeremiah tree and all that, people tend to use the Jeremiah thing, you know, that's talking about an idol. But in any case, you know, much of the information was spot on. Christ Mass, it's the Mass of the Antichrist. And I think Eric Phelps, he was, you know, on fire in regards to that, and it's absolutely understandable that he would be on fire on that topic. Because it's true. Why are we keeping these pagan traditions while we're claiming to be Christians, you know? And we have the secret history of the Jesuits. Okay, we have one of them.
To know that the same illegal immigrants were.
Why does it say it's actually Jörg Glissman when maybe
strategic areas of influence all over,
this seems to
Queen
be.
Elizabeth I.
This doesn't seem to be Jörg Glissman.
Always supported by
It seems to be like
Britain's trained and still trains United States political leaders.
this is not Jörg Glissman. So I don't know what has happened there, but apparently sometimes.
Every modern-day media darling needs a public relations machine, and Pope Francis thinks he is no exception, although the principle behind this strategy is unbiblical. Greg Burke, the 53-year-old Opus Dei member and former Fox News correspondent, is the Pope's public relations guru. This photo of Greg Burke was taken at the Catholic Church in England on World Communications Day, followed by Mass.
Yeah, I don't know. It's clearly not.
The embrace that has gone viral, melting hearts around the world. Pope Francis laying his hands on a disfigured man. It's already one of the most widely shared images on CNN.com ever. To many, it symbolizes the new man in charge of the Catholic Church, that he's compassionate, real, inspiring, a Pope of the people. How about this moment of holy hilarity? And could this be the first pontifical selfie? Unlike some predecessors, Pope Francis lives a simple life, declining the luxurious papal apartment, carrying his own bags, even driving around in something akin to the family truckster.
Pope Francis interrupted his general audience in St. Peter's Square to kiss and bless a severely disfigured man. The subsequent photos of his eyes clenched tightly in prayer and his hands around the ailing man's face have gone viral. Many saw echoes of Jesus' healing of the leper, reported the Washington Post that day. Was his charitable act.
I wonder if that could be fungal related as well. That sickness in the man, and of course we, are just blind in regards of fungus related sicknesses.
Impromptu or a public relations stunt?
No, maybe some essential oils of the right kind might actually help. I don't know.
One must consider the latter, since the Vatican has hired
Because it's just
such men as Greg Burke. Pope Francis has nabbed headlines for cold.
God put some medicine on the earth, to fix some of the things that we have.
Calling worshippers, launching Vatican sports teams, joking around in a red clown's nose and also a firefighter's helmet, allowing a small child to hug him for the duration of a pilgrim's address, and promising to personally baptize the baby of a woman who refused pressure from their partner to have an abortion. Breaking rank with his stiffer-lipped co-workers, Francis has recently suggested that even the atheists...
Of course, Protestant children is okay to murder, right? We don't want too many Protestants, right? So we'll defend the Roman Catholics and tell them, don't, abort their children, while, promotion of Protestant children is going strong.
can be saved, and affirmed that he is totally not about to judge gay and lesbian Catholics. However, those statements are highly deceptive.
Gay and lesbian Catholics.
Because while it is true that it is not the Pope's role to judge, he fails to inform people the standard of God's judgment, suggesting everyone can be saved without a change in lifestyle, so long as
Oh, just being an atheist, right? An atheist can be saved, apparently,
they
right?
accept him, the Pope.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's actually interesting because here the flag actually has 7, or maybe more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, 7. It
As a
seems.
religious leader,
Usually they have 6 if there's if it's the homosexual thing.
think back a few years to the reign of Pope Benedict XVI. The Catholic Church was awash in scandal. In 2006, Benedict gave his now infamous Regensburg lecture, in which he quoted a brutal critique of Islam and irked Muslims the world over. 3 years later, he left many aghast with his decision to reverse the excommunication of a Holocaust-denying bishop. In 2010, the church was slammed with a new wave of pedophilia allegations, then the Vatican Bank controversy, and then VACT leaks. Added to all that, the
Oh yeah, regards of disgusting.
Then the Vatican Bank controversy, and then VACT leaks. Added
Yes,
to
he
all
was.
that, the people did not seem to take much to Pope Benedict, as he was a public relations nightmare. Pope Francis suggested that Donald Trump was not a Christian for building a wall, keeping out illegal immigrants.
Okay. Well, of course, he's also just playing the game, right? But in any case, keeping out the Mexicans, the Roman Catholic Mexicans from the former Protestant U.S. Yeah, well, not
It is
much left, is there?
Important to note that the same illegal immigrants were Catholic and would give the Pope political power within the United States.
Oh yeah, that's the whole point, because whether rich or poor, they have a vote, and then they can outvote any Protestant.
But Francis welcomed people like dictator Robert Mugabe, who has committed crimes against humanity. Robert Mugabe had a Jesuit education, the same Jesuit order that Pope Francis belongs.
The excellent PR of the papacy has presented him as a people's person who cooks his own food and takes the bus like a commoner, and most of the world press have already praised him. But there is a very dark, unrepentant chapter of his life that won't die that easily, that time and most of the corporate-controlled Western media have glossed over. His role in the 1970s dirty war in Argentina. A human rights lawyer.
I do wonder why I put it as a Jörg Glissman. I don't know, apparently must have written wrong or something like
of
that.
war crimes as documented in the LA
Because
Times
that's
of April 1st.
clearly not
2005.
true.
But this has been sadly overlooked. 30,000 people were killed in a dark episode of Argentine history, and recently classified documents shows the United States gave full backing on that coup. A Catholic priest, Christian von Wernich, has already been jailed for his complicity of the murders, as well as the president of Argentina, Jorge Rafael Fidela. But who is the man in the top left who was giving him mass? It was the highest-ranking Jesuit provincial in Argentina, Jorge Mario Bergoglio, the current and newly elected pope. In both the Vietnam and Argentine wars, the Jesuits have only intensified the conflict. Pope Francis I's coat of arms bears the Jesuit symbol IHS. The man
There's
behind the
a
Jesuits
coat
was
of
the
arms,
Spanish
apparently.
HS. Pope Francis I's coat of arms bears the Jesuit symbol IHS. The man behind the Jesuits was a Spanish Basque soldier, Don Inigo de Recalde, who founded the Jesuits.
Nico.
After being wounded in a war, he had an hallucinatory and mystical experience, and he later changed his name from Inigo to Ignatius, which means to ignite.
Yeah, and that's when you see on his history, when they talk about the Illuminati and all that, you don't need, it's not to say that, but you don't need it, in regards of the history. He gets hurt, he reads some of these Catholic, saints, whatever books, and then he can get into his own mystical bullshit, get in contact with the devil.
While studying in France,
So he wouldn't need to have contact with any other society as such,
he recruited a company of young impressionable minds, and in 1534 the Jesuits were founded in France, where it was officially approved by a
15 what?
And in 1534 the
34.
Jesuits were founded in France, where it was officially approved by a papal bull in Italy in
1540.
1540
Yeah.
by Pope Paul III. The Jesuits' modus operandi is that in order to control the policy of the world and future generations, you educate the children of today in medieval secular Catholicism, as the late French scholar Edmond Pratt has confirmed.
Education against education.
The good fathers, as is well known, are just masters
You see, Satan has some of the most clever, intelligent, people.
in the art of keeping up with their former pupils and in following them in life and giving them their support. Needless to say, they expect their pupils to reciprocate.
Reciprocate. What's reciprocate?
On the official app of the White House, Jesuit priest Charles Curry says that Jesuit-educated students are in strategic areas of influence all over the world. John Brennan, the newly elected director of the CIA. Janet Napolitano, third United States Secretary of
Doing things.
Homeland Security. John Kerry, United States Secretary of State. Dennis McDonough, White House Chief of Staff. Mark Thompson, CEO of the New York Times and a former Director General of the BBC. Michael O'Leary, CEO of airline Orion Air. Peter Sutherland, chairman of Goldman Sachs International, the London School of Economics and financial advisor to the Vatican. Mario Draghi, president of the European Central Bank. Emilio Botin, CEO of Spanish bank Santander. And Herman Van Rompuy, the first and current president of the European Council. And in this picture you can see him standing on the left, and seated under the pillar is the Superior General of the Jesuits, Adolfo Nicolas, who can also be seen with Jesuit-educated priest Antonio Menini, the papal ambassador to Great Britain. Although this plaque is talking about Franciscan nuns, it does sound similar to the Jesuits' experience, banned by the land of their birth. The Jesuits have been expelled from over 100 countries all over the world, including the Vatican itself by Pope Clement XIV in 1773. The reason for this, their philosophy, the end justifies the means, has encouraged Jesuit warfare to crush Protestantism. Diego Lainez, the second Superior General of the Jesuits, orchestrated the ethnic cleansing of Protestants in France in 1572. French King Louis XIV in 1685 was instructed by his Jesuit confessor Francois de la Chaise to force the Protestants to either join Catholicism or ethnically cleanse them from France, and that's exactly what he did. A film entitled Elizabeth the Golden Age was released in 2007, describing the Protestant defeat of the Catholic Navy, the Spanish Armada, and the Jesuit plot against Queen Elizabeth I. Elizabeth's inner circle was headed by the father of British intelligence, Sir Francis Walsingham. He had a spy network that stretched from London throughout Europe into Tripoli within the Ottoman Empire. And it was this network in the Muslim world which not only led to the defeat of the Armada, but also the capture of 125 Jesuit terrorists who were plotting to kill Elizabeth I, where one escaped, Robert Parsons. But his fellow terrorists, Edmund Campion and Mary, Queen of Scots, were killed. But Mary's son, James Stewart, absolutely hated the Jesuits. He said, for the Jesuits are the worst.
Yeah, well, James the apparently fourth or sixth, as far as I recall, but you know, apparently he was a Freemason and banned the Geneva Bible.
Worst and most seditious fellows in the world. Why did he say that?
So, you know, it's interesting.
Guy Fawkes is the most famous terrorist in history. He has now turned into an icon.
I don't know if, well, I guess he sort of had become
of global revolution thanks to Alan Moore's graphic novel turned movie, V for Vendetta. But the real overseer of the famous gunpowder plot was not Guy Fawkes, but a Jesuit whose confession is preserved in London's National Archives, Henry Garnet. Peter Canese and Peter Faber founded the German Jesuit Institute Ingolstadt, where King Ferdinand II was educated in Jesuit.
I don't know if I should keep it or not. I don't even know the name of it. I can't seem to find it in regards of, well, I could try to download it to this place and then see if I can see how big it is compared, because you know, you have all these different sizes and all that, right? Because it shouldn't be too easy on the computer. We need to have so many different kinds of information. Now it still says 142, and I just don't have a video that is 142, so it must have been from
warfare that led to the Jesuits' 30 Years' War in the 1600s. But as documented in a very rare book, The Vatican Against Europe, by the late French scholar Edmond Paris, the Jesuits were instrumental in another 30 Years' War. In the Times of London during World War I, it documents how the German war effort was fully supported by the Jesuits to crush Protestant Britain. But when that failed, the Superior General of the Jesuits, Polish priest Vladimir Ledochowski, hatched another plan to merge the continent of Europe together by war with a Jesuit-educated student, Eugenio Pacelli, who was to execute this bloody Jesuit agenda, as the London Daily Mirror newspaper of 1944 has confirmed, and even more recently in London's Mail on Sunday. While a cardinal, Pacelli signed 2 concordats that led to both World War I and to World War II. And not surprising, his top defender is a German Jesuit, Peter Gumpel. Who assassinated President Abraham Lincoln was behind the American Civil War. The testimonies of General Thomas A. Harris, Samuel Morse, and a former French-Canadian Catholic priest, Charles Chiniquy, in his book 50 Years in the Church of Rome, exposed both the Pope and the Jesuits of siding with the Confederate pro-slavery South during the American Civil War. Yes, without Romanism, the last awful civil war would have been impossible. Jeff Davis would never have dared to attack the North had he not had the assurance from the Pope that the Jesuits, the bishops, the priests, and the whole people of the Church of Rome, under the name and mask of democracy, would help him. Lincoln's assassins plotted in the house of Catholic Mary Surratt. In the film The Conspiracy, director Robert Redford does mention Catholic priest Jacob Walton, but he ignores that when Surratt went to the scaffold to be hanged, she was assisted by her Jesuit confessor, Bernardine Wiggins, whose Jesuit superior, Charles Stonestreet, testified at her trial. When the bounty was out for Lincoln's killers, Mary Surratt's son, Jesuit-educated John Surratt, had fled the United States, and where was he to be found? In the third company of the Papal Zouaves, the Pope's personal guards in Rome. Lincoln's assassin John Wilkes Booth was killed in a shootout, but it took place in the house where he was in hiding and was protected by a student of the Jesuits, Dr. Samuel Mudd. But where was Dr. Samuel Mudd educated? In the most powerful education institution on earth that has covertly shaped American foreign policy for almost a century, Georgetown University, that was founded by Jesuit John Carey. In 1919, Jesuit friar Edmund Walsh set up the very first diplomatic school in the United States, where it has trained and still trains United States political leaders. President Eisenhower visits Georgetown President Edward Bunn, and President Reagan with Jesuit Timothy Healy. For Reagan's Secretary of State Alexander Haig was a Knight of Malta educated at Georgetown. Senior advisor to President Nixon, Ford, and Reagan, Pat Buchanan. Former warmongering President Bill Clinton. The directors of the CIA, both George Tenet in the Bush administration and the last head of the CIA, David Petraeus, in the Obama administration, and retired warlord Robert Gates are all Georgetown Jesuit trained. It also
we have Anders Fogh Rasmussen, Secretary General of NATO.
Invites warmongers to lecture. And has
yes. Oh, interesting.
It also invites warmongers to lecture.
Warmongers to lecture, like Anders Fogh. Yeah.
And has others on its staff. Georgetown professor.
Also invite warmongers. Yeah.
Vietnamese Catholic Viet Dinh is the chief architect of the United States Patriot Act, with the most powerful education institution on earth, and with the Jesuit priests steering the ship of the papacy, where the Jesuits have meddled in the wars for almost 500 years. Only common sense will tell you what is in store for the planet.
It sounds like an SDA source, from the feel I get from the video. But no, it's pretty good information overall, it seems. But
The embrace that has gone viral.
Yeah, but mostly, the system overall. Let's take the other jerk thing. That should be Jörg, 1 hour and 30 minutes. Introduction to the Secret of the Jesuits.
That I've read before.
And again, there's some great stuff in regards to reading, but like the image and all that, saying that's the UN and all that, I absolutely do not agree with that. And why would the image of the beast be the UN? It just doesn't. There's just things that that doesn't make any sense. The image of the beast. We have the. Anyway. Know your enemy, the Jesuits. I think they should have that another place. So that might be a video.
When
I
the
can
Reformation
actually,
threatened the power of the Catholic Church and drew millions of
No,
people away
yeah,
from its
yeah.
clutches, Satan established a counter-Reformation designed to nullify the threat and reassert its position of dominance. At the Council of Trent from 1545 to 1563, a commission of cardinals was put together to clean up the Catholic Church and to reassert its position of authority as the
don't I
only
have
true
that
Church of God.
someplace?
Fundamental to this
Let's see here.
Or should heed.
It was the age of...
So,
Welcome to the Jesuit.
There we go. Occult hidden history of the Jesuit order. I think I already have that, so anyway I'll...
When the Reformation threatened the power of the Catholic
Know
Church
your
and drew
enemy.
millions of people away from its...
There we go. That's number 70 should be the same. So let's put it
When the Reformation threatened the power of the Catholic Church and drew millions of people away from its clutches,
Hidden history.
Satan established...
Oh, I need to go up here. It seems to be the same. I'll just need to check it. Takes a little time, right? Everything takes time. It's 37 minutes. Oh, the one is 7 minutes. The other one is 37 minutes. So maybe it's not totally the same. We'll see.
When the Reformation threatened the power of the Catholic Church,
Let's see.
when the Reformation threatened dominant and powerful of Catholic weapons against the Reformation.
End of part 33, around 7. Okay, so maybe there's more parts in this.
Taxes as well as jurisdiction, authority, sentence, and command of any other ordinary delegate, judge, magistrate from any search. In other words, the Jesuits were given authority from the Catholic Church to operate above the law and to employ any means necessary to do their work. With this remit, in time, the Jesuits became the most prominent and powerful of Catholic weapons against the Reformation.
End of part 33, and then what? The Field Project on Facebook, apparently. Know your enemy. Part 34. It's interesting because the other one isn't said to be know your enemy, and yet that's apparently not know your enemy.
Key to Ignatius Loyola.
So anyway, I'll just delete the small one here. We already have it. So that's one more. Yippee yay! Of all those. The Jesuit generals in control of high-level Scottish Rite Freemasonry, Grand Orient Freemasonry. Well, yeah, well. That's just something to watch without any...
So, if you needed a good reason not to get involved in politics, if you are a professing Christian, a Protestant, an evangelical...
Well, it's still, you know, well, it has been corrupted, I guess. But, yeah, it's... But then again, you know, when you know that the Catholics use their vote to get people out, then the question is if then the Protestants or the Christians don't stand up for election, then of course it will be all Roman Catholicism, right?
Cool.
So
This video would be a good place to begin.
What a great honor. What a great honor.
What a great honor. What a great honor.
But does it, you know, of course we know all the kings of the world is whoring with, you know, but there still have been some people, yeah, I don't know. Now, of course we're not called, we're just called to spread the good news, right? This world is the devil's world.
Starts off by calling the Pope, Your Holiness,
Yeah.
and yet only God is holy. Only God, John 18, is called Holy Father. And yet here, the American Vice President, born a Catholic, converted to evangelicalism some years ago. is following.
And yet, you know, calling himself an evangelist and still calling him, you know, the Pope, His Holiness. The only thing that should come out of the lips of a Christian is Antichrist.
The trend of many politicians.
Antichrist.
Flies to the Vatican, falls over himself to meet the man of sin, a counterfeit.
The man of perdition, the beast of perdition, you know.
Character.
Number 666.
And Mike Pence should know better. But of course it's election year in America. And Mike Pence, along with Donald Trump, need as many votes as possible from Roman Catholics and apostate Protestants.
Yeah, I guess apostate Protestants, if you don't even know who you're protesting, right? Apostate Protestant. Well, I don't know. Well, when you don't know who the Antichrist is and you call yourself a Protestant, right, this kind of doesn't make sense. Oh, we're Protestants. Where did we get this name from, Protestant, you know?
I should say the audio is very poor on this, and it's heavily edited, but you get the gist of it, I'm sure.
Thank you, Your Holiness.
Mike Pence was a Roman Catholic, like I say. He should know more about the Church of Rome than anyone else, but because he is a politician, he wears two hats. And this is one of the main reasons why Christians have no business going into politics. Because
well, you know, again, that's, you know, of course, Jesus never called us to be politicians and all that. But I'm pasty, you know, but maybe he wasn't, well, at least he was one of the last one that protested in public in regards of the Antichrist. So, and we know the Roman Catholics want as many Roman Catholics into the US because, and it doesn't matter if they're rich or poor, because everyone has a vote. And when a vote, you can vote out the Protestants. So, if Protestants are not, who knows the Bible, are not going to stand up for positions of government, well then there will only be Roman Catholics, won't there? You know, I don't know. It's, I know the devil, you know, owns, you know, pretty much owns this world, right? But, yeah, if you're not going to stand up against his wicked deeds, you know, they're just going to take a hold, right?
Because when you do, you have to meet up with Jubilee.
How was the Dark Age when Roman Catholic ruled the world? Not good. Not good.
Characters like the Pope of Rome. Seen around the world as a wonderful man, a man of peace, a man who can do great work. And
yeah, I've had my difficulties in regards to this thing, in regards to worldly, you know, politician, kind of Protestant. But of course, we're not going to kiss the finger of the Pope. A Protestant doesn't do that, you know? Or kiss his toe or whatever, you know? We're going to call him Antichrist. Because if you're going to do that, you will be seen as unpolitical or whatever, political, you know, you will not be political correct and you will be hated and this and that, so you probably won't get any vote anyway, but that's not to say that one shouldn't try or whatever, you know, right? I don't know, it's just, I have a hard time with it. Jesus didn't really seek out, you know, higher positions, right? He sought out the people that, you know, wanted the truth. He used his time on people on the lower levels. Whoever wanted to hear the truth, right?
The scripture says that such a man is wicked, is an imposter, and will take millions, if not billions, to hell based on his
the hell
human
doctrine. Well,
philosophy,
lake of fire,
and pernicious theology.
They should use the right word.
Now we get into the veils. It's always interesting when women go to Rome with their husbands The idea is that the woman is in submission to the papacy, and of course he is in white, demonstrating his purity, whereas the women who fly to Rome are expected to be covered in black, picturing humility and submission, but also denoting that they are not as holy as the Pope.
Thank you for your hospitality.
Mrs. Pence, a professing Christian, should know better, but due to apostasy, due to wanting her husband to do well, and it's probably fair to say that once Donald Trump leaves office in 4 or 5 years' time, I think most people will be of the opinion he will be re-elected in November this year, her husband will want to run for the presidency. And again, they need all the votes they can get. But Mrs. Pence, a Protestant,
needs
is
the
here all
votes,
veiled
right?
up, showing that she is in submission to the papacy, when she should be in submission to the potentate of potentates.
Potentates.
Son, daughter-in-law, Sarah Pence.
Potentates.
It's a family affair. Wife is present,
I'm
daughter-in-law
not
is present, all veiled up. And you would have thought these are feminists who hate men, who hate to be told what to do, and yet here they are very much falling in line. But what makes it even worse is that they claim to be Christian. They claim to be born again. They claim to be Protestant.
And standing with the Antichrist. And not a word to him about being the Antichrist.
Claim to be evangelicals. And you say, well, James, this...
Well, you can't, evangelical, standing with the arch enemy of Jesus Christ.
is the Vice President. He's a very religious man, a very spiritual man. He is being polite. He's going to Rome on behalf of America, and that's true to some extent. There's nothing in the scripture which would prohibit being respectful to leaders. The Apostle Paul was very respectful when he went to visit one leader during his time on the earth. Daniel was very close to Nebuchadnezzar, and of course Joseph was the prime minister to Pharaoh. Nothing wrong with showing respect to leaders, praying for such, but this guy is religious. This guy isn't just an unsaved political character. He says he is the Holy Father, and his church still officially teach that if you're not part of their club, you are going to perish.
Holiness,
and yet,
right?
to see Mrs. Pence on the far right and the daughter-in-law on the far left, you would think they're all one happy family. And maybe they are. Maybe they are. So you say, well, this is the Vice President, a religious man, so he's going to bring his family to meet the Pope, but the President, you may say, wouldn't do this. Donald Trump is more savvy. He isn't someone who suffers fools gladly. He wouldn't allow his wife to be veiled up in the presence of a dubious character. Let's go back to 2017. Incidentally, the cross, which Catholics like to use and some Protestants, is actually an affront to the Lord. You are told to pick up your cross and follow the Lord Jesus Christ, not to use it as a fashion symbol. Let's go back to 2017 when Donald Trump went to Rome.
Yeah, and we also see his wife, getting blessed the rosary in regards of the Mary nonsense,
I've got a
right?
video documentary concerning the Church of Rome in more detail, but it's worth just reminding ourselves.
And as far as I recall, she is also a Roman Catholic. Why wouldn't she be if she's running around with the rosary?
2017.
But overall, all the Satanists
Now,
all
Donald
around.
Trump, to be fair to him, isn't religious. Was once asked if he needed to be forgiven for anything, and he said, "No, I've done nothing wrong."
yeah, that sounds very Christian, right? I know nothing wrong. Yeah. Okay.
So, we know where we stand with Mr. Trump, but here, his third wife is all veiled up. A convert to Catholicism.
Oh, there we go. Convert to Catholicism.
And here she's in awe of meeting the Pope. What you don't see from this clip is how she asks him to bless her rosary. which he happily does, and I got that on my video documentary. But to the far left of the screen, Ivanka Kushner, Donald Trump's favourite daughter, converted to Judaism some years ago with her husband, the Manhattan billionaire, and yet two Jewish couples to the left of the screen, and Ivanka and Melania are veiled up. Picturing submission to the papacy. So interesting when you see these pictures, but also very alarming how the man of sin has been able and continues to be able to deceive the whole world.
Yeah.
And like I say, in America this year, it is election year. And Donald Trump needs as many votes as possible to be re-elected as the American president. The happy family, the first family, all lining up to pay respect to the Pope. You may say to me, well, politicians all do this, don't pick on American politicians. Well, let's look at the German Chancellor, an unsaved woman, not particularly religious. Her father, I think, was a pastor from memory, and she's been in office for a long time, met the Pope and previous popes many times, but at least you know where you stand with her. No head covering, no bowing down, no kissing hands, no kissing feet, no kissing rings. Polite, businesslike, respectful. This is much more in line with scripture, incidentally. And yet Mrs. Markle, as far as I know, is an
So you don't think she's under the wings of the Pope,
non-religious woman. And she's more in line with scripture than Mrs. Pence and Mrs. Trump, who are both very religious. Religion seems to do something to people. I have no problem with this, an unsaved woman meeting an unsaved man.
You don't have a problem with that, you know, the leader of a nation going to the Antichrist, you know.
And head of state.
Yeah, might be nice with a Protestant leader, you know, the protest the Antichrist and knows who the Antichrist is, maybe.
Meeting the German Chancellor. Business, politics, discussions about discussions, that's fine. No problem with that at all. Let's go back to 1961.
Okay. No problem with
and
that.
Here, a young queen of England with her husband, Prince Philip, meeting John the 23rd, Roncalli, a member, we believe, of the Rosicrucian Society, and many fundamentalist Catholics despise this man. They see him as an imposter. They see him as an anti-pope. They see him as being responsible for Vatican II. But the body language is always fascinating when you watch something as old as this and hear the Queen all veiled up in submission to the papacy, and yet she's head of the Church of England, which gave us the King James Bible. And her husband also in submission, and go back a few minutes, would just bow down to Roncalli as he enters the room, and all these dignitaries are lining up to meet the Pope, who sees himself as the successor of the Apostle Peter.
And
sees
so, right?
But for some reason, when religious people sees himself as the successor of the Apostle Peter, of course there are no successors, but for some reason, when religious people get together, they fall over themselves to meet the man of sin, son of perdition, and they all think they're going to the same place. Well, they are all going to the same place, but it's not up, it's down.
And there we go with the heaven-hell doctrine again.
Interesting pictures. The Queen has met other people over the years, other popes, and
it's really an ingrained doctrine, this heaven and hell doctrine, you know. I guess it's only really the SDA of the bigger nominations that stands against this. You know, there are others that stands against it, right? But SDA is one of those, at least, prominent ministries that stands against this heaven-hell doctrine.
Has never
and they're correct in regards to that doctrine.
Stood against Catholicism, abortion, or same-sex marriage. 2010, we were in Birmingham, protesting peacefully against the Pope's arrival, giving out tracts That was our main purpose, standing on a street corner. The apostles were all street preachers. John the Baptist was a street preacher. Jesus Christ was a street preacher. We weren't preaching anything seditious, but we were preaching the gospel and just look at these people's faces, not interested. They come to see the Pope, not interested in the gospel, not interested in Jesus Christ, lining up in their hundreds, if not thousands. The overtime for the police must have gone into the millions. And there's a Pope mobile coming up the street, and of course they see our banner, they see what we are doing, and they do a quick, sharp left turn. Strange day, a very heavy atmosphere,
Sharp left
but it was
turn.
good to go.
Interesting. Didn't want to drive that
They come
way
to see the
then.
Pope, not interested
What
in the
about
gospel,
those
not
people that
interested in
stands
Jesus
there?
Christ, lining up in their hundreds, if not thousands. The overtime for the police must have gone into the millions. And there's a Pope mobile coming up the street, and of course they see our banner, they see what we are doing, and they do a quick, sharp left turn. Strange day, a very heavy atmosphere, but it was good to go, preach the gospel, and take a stand. You won't see Mike Pence taking a stand, rebuking the papacy. He needs their support. He wants the votes of millions of Catholics and Protestants and others this November, and such apostasy.
You know, and of course, a Protestant would never vote, would they, on someone meeting the Pope? Well, apparently they would, right?
Grieves Almighty God, and I'm sure many American
Because
Christians
they're not Protestants anymore.
are also
It's the worst thing. When Protestants are not Protestants, they become Catholics, and they will take part in any Catholic movement, as we see in Nazi Germany.
grieved to see their vice president with the Pope, best of friends, or the American president with the Pope, getting on very well like a house on fire, allowing both their wives to be in submission to a foreign entity, bowing down and paying respects where respect is not due. If you look online, you can find the Jesuit oath, which used to be on Ian Paisley's website, interestingly enough, but he's been dead since 2014, and his son is now running the office. So I had to look quite carefully for this oath,
My
which
son,
is very hard to find.
who's
but I want
Paisley's
his son.
On Paisley's son. I wonder if Ian Paisley's son, Jr. I talked to someone, but Carl Paisley. I wonder if they actually, sent the thing. I'll see. Guess I have to check my post mail soon in regards of who knows if there's. Oh, where did it go? There we go.
Is now running the office. So I had to look quite carefully for this oath, which is very hard to find, and I wonder why. And as you scroll through this, and I suggest you pause and read it at your own leisure, it's pretty horrendous what the Jesuits expect of their followers to adhere to. If you think of Freemasonry or witchcraft.
I should probably, I shouldn't write to the Jesuit in Denmark. I don't know what they will say to it. Hey, at least witnessing to these guys, I know there's a Danish side. I don't know if I should do it. Hey, why not? At least they will be tested, we can write both of them, I guess. They should have it in Danish. I guess they won't. I don't know, the devils won't be happy. I don't know. Who knows? Okay. It's a good day to die, right? 2, added ACC, and we'll just take the other one. Oh, it's not the right one here. Well, it's the same email apparently. What's the point of that? Well, oh, let's see, off induction. Induction, oath of induction, oath, valve, that's induction, oath, valve of induction. Okay. Oath, valve, induction. Okay, who knows, maybe one of them will come out. Oath. Opdragelse. Doesn't induction. Okay. Okay. What was it they were called? Martin and Chris. Hey. Martin and Chris. Protestant, well, dear pagan, dear wolves in sheep clothing. Tales of the devil. Oh, it should be in Danish, right? Oh yeah. Kærligste ulve i forklæder. How do we call that tales in Danish? English. Barrier. Riders af djævlen. Jeg ville høre om I wanted to hear if I havde det fjerde edsløfte på dansk. Fjerde jesuit edsløfte i henhold til Inigos optagelse til inderste rang af jeres djævelske, jeres slangeorden, jeres falske profetorden på dansk. Hej Martin og Chris, jeg skriver engelsk og dansk, det er også lidt svært at snakke. Hej Martin, there are wolves in sheep clothing. Oh yeah, well. Oh yeah, okay. There are wolves in sheep clothing. The world's weed and poisonous tares, well, it's not the right, Daniel of the devil. I wanted to hear if the fourth vow in regards of Inigo's thing of yeah. Just med venlig hilsen hvedekornet. Okay. With dearly regards, the Weecorn Dakia. So, well, it's honest, right? We have some honesty here, It's I don't have a problem writing with these guys, But it's nice to just know where we stand, right? Okay. Invalid address. What are you talking about? Oh my. An error occurred. It's typical, right? What are you talking about? It's not, Oh. Oh, go. Maybe we try that. Uh-oh, we lost connection.